Welcome to the Amazon's podcast. Happy Saturday to everyone. I'm Glenn Young, owner of Amazon's Fitness Magazine. Celebrate the female physique. Subscribe to AmazonsFitMag.com. The podcast is brought to you by GPS Photography and Video. Why photography and video? Because if a photo is worth 1,000 words, video is worth 1,000,000. And GPS Photography and Video, the publication, Amazon's Fitness Magazine, is a publication of GPS Photography and Video. Joining me back on the podcast 1 week out, or actually peak week starting tomorrow, actually, on our way to the North Americans, NPC women's bodybuilder, Jamie Hart. Thanks for joining me again.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate you taking the time, especially as busy as you are. Like I said, peak week starting on Sunday. What's this peak been like?
It actually starts today because I go on Friday. So
okay,
we've officially started.
Nice. So you already got that last workout in, cardio?
Not yet. My last workout will be Wednesday. Really Tuesday, and then Wednesday's light. So, but we're traveling on Tuesday. So
got you.
Yeah.
Got you. And you're driving up?
We're gonna drive. So it's about it's between 8 and 8.5 hours.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. Pittsburgh done that.
Oh yeah,
they get drive a few times, so that's great.
So we're gonna drop the youngest one off and hit the road. Yeah,
there you go. Where are you dropping your youngest off at?
At school.
Okay.
Get out. And then his grandpa and older siblings are going to help for the week. So really thankful that they can help out with all that.
Yeah, it's great. School starts on Monday. I've been feeling in all these professional developments, but it's all over Monday. Is all the kids will be back in the official start of the school year. So that's always tough this time of year. College went back last week. Everybody's starting classes. So it's a melancholy time for parents, but at the same time, it's a happy time for parents because, hey, I've had you all summer and hey, now at least for 8 hours, I can make it a level of peace, especially doing well in school. And the same thing with college, whether you're worried about them or not, it's the beginning of the end of trying to be an empty nester. So that's a good thing.
Well, and it's a mixed feeling. Like I enjoy having my kids at home during the summer, but if I hear I'm bored one more time. But yeah, so we went back to school early this year. They changed the schedule and everything last year, so the kids got out early, and then they started school early. So it did almost feel like the summer was shortened, but it really wasn't. So yeah, because we went back at the very beginning of August.
So was this all of South Carolina?
Just Greenville County.
Okay.
Just Greenville County, which we're actually the largest county. Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all went back in 1 August?
What was it? August. It was the first week in August.
Wow. Yeah.
That we went back. Yeah.
So teachers went back here. What was it? Well, it's been the last 2 weeks. It's been a blur. So many meetings, and I'm just beat down. I'm like, I'm maxed out, and I ain't even done lesson plans. So you know what I'll be doing tomorrow?
Yeah.
Crazy. So I mean, and it's interesting. Greenville, South Carolina. Don't get confused with Greenville, North Carolina, which is the home of East Carolina University. But what's the main attraction in Greenville, South Carolina?
I'll say the downtown area.
Mm-hmm.
The downtown area. Just because, we've got the Reedy River that goes through it, and the bridge, and there's so many different restaurants to eat at. I don't go down there enough because I actually live in Greer, which is right outside of Greenville. So it takes me about 15 minutes to get downtown. So it's not bad. But yeah, I would say the downtown area, and the fact too that we're so close to the mountains, but also the beach. So we're 3.5 hours from Charleston, and then 45 minutes to an hour from Asheville. So it's
I think you're almost 4 from me. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a good ways from you.
As much as people talk about North Carolina and South Carolina, two very different states. I mean, especially when you talk about just football alone. They got NIL deals for high school kids. North Carolina doesn't. When they do spring football practice, it's actually a spring football practice, much like that you see in college, unlike here. But anyway.
Yeah.
High school sports is in full swing. I got to talk to you about, Dr. Trey Hodge. He's your coach. It's interesting because it's not that I've been drawn as athletes, but I've shot a lot of them. I have been able to see his work firsthand in Teresa Mota, Amy McCown, Sheena Oleg, who's competing today in the Rising Phoenix in Arizona. So what draws you to Dr. Trey Hart? What makes him so special of a coach?
So I've known Trey now for well over a decade. My husband actually met him first 12, 13 years ago and introduced us. And even back then, I told Chad, if I ever decide to compete, I want Trey to coach me, just because I met Monique Jones. I'd seen, Monique, Charles Dixon, all of those guys, and I was just in awe, with how they look, how they present themselves, and knowing that Trey was their coach. I'm like, if I do this, then that's who I'm going to go with. And as far as he and I working together, he's been my coach now for 3 years, since 2021, and I mean, I feel like he knows my body. He knows how it's going to react to stuff. He and I communicate very well with one another. I'm a very hands-off athlete. I don't need, I don't necessarily need somebody checking in with me all the time. If you tell me to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm just wired that way. I don't need a babysitter. I just need somebody to guide me in the right direction. And, I'll do what you tell me to do and what's expected of me. So, and now I think that he's great in regards to that.
Yeah. So now you've known him for 10 years. How did you first meet him? I mean, and then what made you decide, you talking about if you ever decide to compete, what made you decide to compete?
Well, when I met him, my husband actually competed he's competed one time. I've tried to talk him into competing again, but he does not want to do the posing. But maybe one day he'll get back on stage. So I met him over at Powerhouse whenever Chad was talking to him and working out over there and all that good stuff. But when I had thought about then wanting to compete. And I actually trained with Mo for a little while just to lose some weight, just kind of see how much muscle I had. And this was 12 years ago. So then, like, when Chad and I got married, we were blending two families. There was all kinds of drama with that. And I wasn't mentally in a place to where I needed to be in order to do this the right way, because it is, it's not just physical. A lot of it's mental, and you've got to be mentally tough, especially to get through a prep and really get through a bulk, because that's almost harder to me than the prep is. But I just wasn't in the right headspace to be able to do it then. So I put it on the back burner, and it was one of those things where I was like, I've got kids, like my priorities being a mom. What I want gets pushed to the side. And so that's what I did. And then I decided, when I decided back at the end of 2020, when I felt like absolute dog shit, pardon my language. No, I felt bad. Like I ate like crap. I drank too much. And I just decided, you know what? I'm sick of feeling this way. And I need to lose weight. I need to fix my relationship with food. And then once I did that, I told Chad, I said, you know what? I think I want to try competing. Like it's always been in the back of my mind for over a decade now. So why not do it? And I had planned on just doing the Upstate Classic the first time that I competed. I just planned on doing one show just to prove to myself that I could do it. And I'm like, I'll just do one, and then that'll be it. It'll be really cool for my kids to see the transformation and to see me go through that. And then when I stepped on stage, I absolutely fell in love with it and ended up doing 3 shows that first year. So, and then now it's part of my life. And really seeing, how it's affected my kids and everything. And it helps them see that, as an adult, you can also continue to go after your dreams. Like stuff like this, being an athlete and, trying new things doesn't stop when you graduate high school. You don't just, graduate high school or graduate college and then just go out into corporate America and work the rest of your life and don't do anything but that. It helps them see, you can still manage and balance being a parent, being an employee, being a spouse, and still, fulfilling the things that you want to fulfill within your life. So that's, and I've always tried to be, I don't want to be that parent that's a do as I say, but not as I do. Like I want to show my kids, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to live your life. Go after the stuff. If there's something that's a burning desire inside of you, then put in the work and go for it. Like go for it. Go all in.
Right. And it's critical to be a role model for your kids because everybody's trying to get to your kids, literally.
Yeah. Yep.
So much going on Instagram, call it what you want. A parent's got to be a parent. And quite frankly, you don't get to be the nice guy, and that because so much is at stake. The very life of your child is at stake. Aside from the fact of where, the everyday worries of what are they thinking, where they want to go to school, did they have a good day? I mean, once you have a child, that's forever, even when they're well after they're grown. But that's just the way it is. But you wouldn't trade it for the world, though.
No, absolutely not.
One of the most important 3 decisions you ever make in your life, whether you believe in God or not, who you marry, and whether you have children or not. After those 3 decisions you made in your life, the rest is just life. But so much, pivots off of those 3 decisions. So it's crazy from that standpoint. Peak week, take me through it. Wednesday, you'll hit the road. Starting today, up until Friday. Give me day by day your breakdown.
So I had my workout and my first round of cardio this morning. Today is when we actually start, pushing more water. We'll do that for the next 4 days. I actually leave on Tuesday, so we'll get up there Tuesday. And then I'll have like my last leg workout is going to be tomorrow. And then I'll do my upper body Monday, and then I'll hit, a lighter upper body Tuesday and Wednesday. So, just kind of going through, making sure everything's nice and full. And then really later on Wednesday and especially Thursday, just relax and enjoy the ride.
Normally you fly to shows, correct? Is this the first time you've driven?
Last year I flew to nationals, but this is so nationals, and then this one, they're the first 2 out of state shows that I've done, the big shows. But everything else, has been within a couple of hour drive within South Carolina. Yeah.
Differences between driving versus flying. Do you have an issue with water retention? You're just gonna drive, let your husband drive, put your legs up on the dashboard, which you're not supposed to do, but anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna let him drive, and I told him if I need to drive, and us split the ride up, then that's fine. I've never really had an issue with water retention whenever I've driven. Now flying, yes. I'll hold some water, but then it's usually after about 24 hours, it usually kind of settles. But this will be, I wasn't as conditioned last year either as what I am this year. So this is all new territory. It's all new territory. Peak week, traveling, all of it. So I'm anxious to see how it's going to unfold. I'm super excited. Last year, I was more nervous because I knew my conditioning was not where it needed to be. But doing nationals last year was more so a learning experience. I needed to see, what these other women look like. What can I expect competition wise, judging wise, all of that. And I took all of that and absolutely utilized every bit of what I learned in this off season and in this prep. So this time it's a different ball game this time. and I'm super excited. So the nerves are still there some, which is normal. I'm not doing the right thing if I'm not a little bit nervous.
Right.
So yeah, but I'm super excited.
Saw the latest check-in photos that you and Dr. Trey Hart posted. I gotta say, you look great.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Does it bother you to post? Or are you well, let me back up. So are you a competitor that during peak week you become a recluse and you just go all into your dark space and get your mind right, which is nothing wrong with that? Or are you more extroverted, hyping yourself up, hyping your fans up before you're posting, because you're excited about the journey that you just completed and you're excited about going on stage, and there's nothing wrong with that either. What type of athlete would you consider yourself? And it's early, as you proceed down the ranks and you go on for your pro card. But where do you see yourself going, and do you attribute yourself or model yourself after any competitor out there?
I love the look of Sheena and
Yes.
Kristen Mendoza. Like I
Yes.
absolutely love how they look, and of course Andrea Shaw. So if I
Yeah.
had to pick competitors, like if I got to pick competitors in a mixed bag and say this is what I want, it would be a combination of those three.
Yeah. And of course,
So
Sheena
yeah, so
Oleg
that's
is your teammate, and she competes today at the Rising Phoenix. All of them do,
yeah.
with the exception of Christian Mendoza, Andrea Shaw, and Sheena Oleg. So yeah, those are three great
Mhm.
ones.
I do.
But do you?
I love their look.
Yeah, they're beautiful, no
Yeah.
question. And to see them on stage in person, yeah, the live stream does not do justice.
Oh, I bet
But
not.
it's nothing like going to that show and seeing them in person. But going ahead though, do you see yourself pulling back or embracing the moment? Do you see yourself going dark, as I like to call it, cutting off all social media, no posts, just quiet? Or do you see yourself, I'm gonna enjoy the ride and just put it out there?
I can't decide. Chad and I had this very conversation yesterday. And
Mm-hmm.
if Trey hadn't have posted the check-in picture, I
You wouldn't
probably
have
wouldn't have
posted
posted it.
that. Yeah.
But now that he's posted it, I'm like, well, it's out there. But I mean, I know that,
Yeah.
changes, which I'm not upset at all. I don't want you to think that
Right.
I'm upset with him posting it.
Yeah.
But he knew also that I couldn't decide, do I want to put it out there? Do I want to
Right.
wait? Um, I don't know. I think that I'll just go off of how I feel. Like if I feel like I want to put it out there, then
Mhm.
I'll put it out
Yeah.
there.
And it says
But
something when athletes post versus coaches posting, and he's very proud of the package that you have. And for him as a coach to have Sheena Oleg on stage this weekend, you on stage next weekend, I mean, he's becoming quickly one of those names that are synonymous with bodybuilding.
mhm,
Hodge, Starnes, Vu, and the list can go on and on. So yeah. And again, it's a way of advertising, because that's how you get clients. It's, well, what's your work back? Even you giving a testimonial
yeah,
of how great he is and how long and how you met him and how long you've known him, says a lot. So yeah. And it's something that'll come to you over time. I mean, it's not bragging if you're convinced. You're not conceited if you're convinced. And you're going against yourself. I mean,
yeah,
competition brings out the best in people, and it can also bring out the worst. But when you look in the mirror in the morning, that's who you got to truly beat.
yeah,
And the rest is up to the judges. You can't control it either way. So it really doesn't matter what you post, what you don't post. Go dark, put everything out there, hype it up. It's in the hands of the judges, because you've already done the work.
yeah. And that's the thing that I'm most proud of this go round. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've really understood now the you versus you.
Right.
And last year I have I've surpassed that package by leaps and bounds.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing that no matter what the judges say, they can't take that away from me. Nobody
Right.
can take that away from me. And just to be able to have accomplished that, I just I don't even know that I could put it into words, like, because I never imagined 3 years into this, from where I started to where I am now, that this is what my physique would be going into this show.
And you never know who you're inspiring as well.
No.
Because when they see you, say, well, if she can do it, I can do it. That inspires me. That motivates me to try. And so you just never know who you inspire without even knowing it. They may never even say a word to you, never follow you. They maybe something that you said and they saw in a clip, and you helped them beyond measure. And you never even know them or never even meet them. So look at it that way.
I want parents, not just parents, but I want other people to see you can work a full-time job and do something like this. You can, have children and work and manage a household, all while still doing something for yourself. Whether it doesn't have to be bodybuilding, it can be music. If you want to learn how to play an instrument, if you want to do something with singing or with art or any of that, like I want people to see that you can change your life, and you get one life to live. So why not do with it what you want to do? It's absolutely terrifying when you first start, but that's part of it. That's part of it. And it's once you accomplish and you hit those stair steps, as I like to call them, I mean, it's so fulfilling, and really you become a better spouse, a better employee, a better parent. I've learned so much these last 3 years about myself, about my kids, about my husband, and it's all been part of the process. And I want other people to see that, they can do it. Like you just stop making an excuse for it and you go for it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
And of course, Chad gives you a glowing endorsement. She's looking great, Glenn. Excited to see her on stage this coming week, as we all are. And it's so important to have your spouse, your loved one, that support base in your corner. Because that can mess with you. I really didn't realize when I first started doing this how much home can mess with your competing. And in a long life, at work and everything, you just took, well, it's just stress and you go on. But then when you're trying to actually perform and get on stage, it can really take you down and mess up your everything that you've been doing with your prep.
Yeah, it absolutely can. And I'm very lucky to have a husband that supports me the way that he does. I mean, typically we work out together. So he's my lifting partner. He pushes me and I push him. And males and females can do that. So, if that's something that you and your spouse want to do, absolutely do it. You can both push each other no matter what level of weightlifting you're at, or whatever level of whatever it is that you're doing.
Right.
And, now during prep, he does pick up more of the slack because I do have to spend more time doing cardio and I am, I am more sluggish, especially towards the end of it. I try not to be, but that's just part of it and what your body does. And so he does pick up, some more of the weight and whatnot, but then once prep's over, it goes back to normal. But I still do everything that I typically do anyways, even during prep. But yeah, he's super helpful, and I wouldn't want to do this with anybody else.
What's it like when you roll up to the PTA, parent teacher conference, other parents, and they see what you do, they see your look, and they like, what's the response and how do you respond?
So for the most part, it's positive.
Right.
At least to my face. I do know that there are some chatty Cathys in my town that say otherwise, but that, that's part of it. If you don't like it, don't watch, don't look.
Right. There you go.
I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I've never always been everybody's cup of tea, and I'm okay with it. And it's really taken me, At the older that I get, I really embrace that
Right.
because I don't want to be like everybody else. I do want to
No.
be different. I do enjoy being different. I enjoy taking, I am gifted with the fact that I am a strong female. And for so many years, I hid that and was embarrassed by it because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be, dainty and whatever else. And now that I've learned to embrace that, I absolutely love it. And if somebody else has a problem with that or a problem with, what I wear or how my arms look in a tank top or whatever, then that's on them. That's not
Yeah.
on me. That's for
Get
them to
over it.
worry about. Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
And I gotta say, you were always a strong woman. It's just like now they see the physical manifestation of that.
Yeah.
But that's what makes you an Amazon. Women are inherently strong because women have to go through a lot. And from childbearing and so much so forth, when you talk about salaries and you go back and forth to even competing in sports, and we could go there too. But that's what makes you so unique and amazing. And that's the whole point of having a magazine, because especially women's bodybuilders, of the 6 divisions, y'all catch the most shit. Although people will throw shade on women's physique and figure, and then it sort of tails off, and they flip and say, "Well, I could be wellness, or I could be bikini, or yeah, doing fitness. That's okay." But people just do not know about the world of competition when it comes to female bodybuilding. And so some will never get it. You will never be their cup of tea.
No.
But keep moving through them, because before you were a women's bodybuilder, somebody always had an issue with you about something else, from your hair, your dress, the fact, oh, she's dating this person. It gets to the point where, and that's why it's going back to kids, it's so much because their self-esteem is in jeopardy every day because of someone saying from them. And so when you look back at it, it gets to a point, and the same thing I tell my kids, like, you got to say, fuck them, because you got to do you at the end of the day. Live your life without regrets. There's nothing more worse in life to live a life and never go after what you thought you could have had, if it could have, would have, should have. And it takes us all a moment to get to that point, but we all do get to that point where we're like, I'm gonna do me, screw you. And embrace that mindset and roll on to that. So you're definitely inspirational. I always appreciate talking to you. And say, just go on from there. Posing. Monique Jones posed you, or who poses you?
Yes. So I've actually been working the last couple of months with Dusty and Nikki Hanshaw.
Okay.
So they just to have another set of eyes.
Right.
We've made some tweaks and whatnot, and I'm proud of my posing.
Yeah.
And how far it's come. And it was just learning. That was a big learning curve for me because I'm not very flowy naturally. So it's something that I have had to work at. So, and I feel comfortable with my posing now, or at least a whole lot more comfortable than what it has been in the past.
And it goes back to stage fright versus stage presence. And you get more comfortable with it every time. But you can bust your ass for 16, 25 weeks. If you can't present it on stage, doesn't really matter how good you look.
No. You can have the best physique on stage, and if you can't present it, then
yeah. And I like,
you're SOL.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So talk to me about your routine. Can you tell me what music you're going to use? I know you said you feel more comfortable and more flowy now. But Jamie, some people can dance and some people can't dance. So,
yeah. Now I can dance.
It's not really a dance,
just...
but I mean, it's elegance of energy, of a physique.
Well, and I just with posing to me is it's an art form. So I want to be very flowy, very feminine. I want it to showcase the beauty of female muscle. And so my routine is actually a song by Lindsey Sterling. So it's violin and I'm gonna get a little personal here. So her music, actually, my youngest son, I had him naturally, and her music was what I had playing when I gave birth. So it's a very meaningful
Yeah.
song. Um, so I just hope that I do it justice when I
Yeah.
get out there. But yeah, so it's very graceful. It's powerful, but it's graceful at the same time, and I think that that represents me as a whole.
I have no doubt. And I love your statement, the beauty of female muscle. So,
Mhm.
and that's what it's all about.
Yep.
You've been competing for a while. You caught the bug. Give me, and I'll let you out of here on this one. Going into the North Americans, what's at stake is a pro card. What will you do when you win your pro card? And what are your plans as far as short term and long term goals in the sport of women's bodybuilding?
So when I win,
Exactly. I
Trey and
love
I
it.
have Trey and I have, we've discussed taking an off season. I don't know if it'll be 9 months or 12 months. It'll really depend on the feedback from the judges. If I
Mm-hmm.
need to build more, what I need to build more, or is it just conditioning? Is it posing? What is
Right.
it? But then after that, I do plan on competing at the pro level. I mean,
Right.
ideally, the big dream would be to step in the Olympia stage
Yep.
or the Rising Phoenix stage or
Yep.
both. So, I mean, that's big goals, and I think you're probably the first time I've ever put that out there publicly.
Well,
but
hey, I love getting
but
it
yeah,
exclusive. I love getting it
yeah,
exclusive. So I really appreciate that. And I got no doubt. I love the fact that you said when. Never doubt
yep,
yourself. And you take the entire year of 2025 off to build muscle because there is a level between
hmm
amateur and pro. Let's face it.
yes,
And you could argue that women's bodybuilding takes the longest to build muscle into the sport. So nothing wrong with that. But you're on an incredible journey. I've enjoyed watching it. Enjoy you coming on Amazon's podcast. And you're just next door in South Carolina, but we got to line this shoot up at some point.
I
So
know.
let's make this happen.
We will do it.
Uh, but maybe after Pittsburgh, before you go into refeed or off season or improvement season, and
Yeah,
I like to call it improvement season or prove it season. And
yeah.
so excited. Enjoy
I'm
Pittsburgh
excited.
this weekend.
I'm excited. I'll keep you
Yeah.
updated. So
Oh yeah, I'll be watching.
absolutely.
We always will. And I always say, not everybody's gonna like you. Not everybody's gonna love you.
Mm-mm.
But that doesn't mean that everybody hates you. But what it does mean is everybody's watching. So give them a show.
I like that. I
Yeah.
really like that.
Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right. Talk soon. Keep me
We'll
updated.
see you. We'll do.
All right. Bye. Jamie Hart on her way to the North Americans, Pittsburgh, next weekend. Be watching. No doubt she's going to get that pro card. She's looking great. So been following her since she's been an amateur. And I say that in the positive sense because she's going to get this pro card and on to bigger and better things. So I always appreciate her coming on, and I hope to talk to her again after North Americans as well as do this photo shoot because long overdue. Got to make that happen, and can't make it without the content. At the end of the day, cannot make it without the content. I've enjoyed everyone's comments. Thanks for those that have subscribed. We're up to 14.95 on subscribers on the YouTube channel. I believe I got to go back and check, but we're getting close to that $2,000. I love $2,000. 2,000 subscriber threshold. The podcast started in January, so been ripping it up. And the whole purpose of the podcast was to put the right message out there, control the narrative of what Amazon's Fitness Magazine is, because a lot of people had their own ideas as to what it was, and so to control the narrative, you put your own podcast together and put out your own message, and just go from there. If you have not ordered the copy of the July issue of Melissa Guerrero. Why haven't you? Some have. I have some on inventory. You can simply scan the barcode on my social media and I'll send it out to you. Please make sure that you add your address. In the September issue, right now looking good, finalizing things. Should drop by Labor Day is what we're going for. But we're putting all the pages together. Myself and my art director, Michael Young II, who does amazing work. Without my nephew, at one point, may have been the end of the magazine. But thanks to him and everything he does as the art director, I appreciate him, all the work that he does, and the fact that it's not lost on his own fitness journey. At one time, he weighed 400 pounds, and now he's down to 200 pounds on his way to 175. So keep encouraging him on that. And I told him when I was at the Jay Cutler Classic, hey, you need to get you a coach now or a trainer and finish it up. But good on him. Really appreciate him. Again, celebrate the female physique. Tomorrow I will start putting out for next week. Those that'll be on the podcast, watch for the drop of the September issue. Great athlete on the cover, and that's all I'll say, but you have to wait and see. If you have not subscribed to AmazonsFitMag.com to see the latest galleries and the latest information, why haven't you? Because when you do more, I can do more. On the road next weekend, off to Orlando to do some shoots and work on a special edition is what we're trying to put together, a special edition of an October issue and then roll the November issue right after that, right behind it. So thanks for all you do. Stay tuned and subscribe to AmazonsFitMag.com. Celebrate the female physique. And I will see you guys soon, very soon. All those in Orlando, book now. I'll be on my way. I will see you Saturday, Sunday, and then got to hit the road back on Monday. So talk soon.